Hi everyone, welcome to our uh, overview of the new Nexone Agent. This is a new platform for the software we've been using over the last couple of years. The reason we're making this change is because it coincides with the changes that Webforms are doing for 2020. This system actually has web forms built into it. It is very similar to the way we used web forms in the past. So it makes it quite easy for you to go forward in this system using web forms. The other reason is everything is on one dashboard, from adding your clients to filling out your forms to going to e-signature if you want it. You can then push your forms through to the back office for them to process it once the deal has been completed. So today I'm going to go through this training on the new web forms. The first thing we're going to go through is a 15-minute walkthrough of the system, right from putting in your clients to using the e-signature program. When that video is completed, I am going to do a quick walkthrough or demonstration of the software, and I'm going to highlight some of the modifications we have made to the software that you guys should benefit from. After that, I'm going to show you how to fill out a trade record on the system. Then I'm going to do one more quick little video that's going to show you how to submit your completed transactions or your completed documents to the back office for them to process. So hang on, this is going to probably be about a 30 to 40 minute video, but it is going to take you right from the start to the finish of the new Nexone platform. Remember, if you have any questions about this whatsoever, you can always contact me, Laura Marks, through our offices. I am going to be doing some one-on-one training with this, and schedules will be available for the agents on Heritage Hotline, on the front desks, and the Insider. Okay, so we're going to start with the 15-minute walkthrough demo.
Now we've rented our Repre homepage. This is where you're going to do most of your work here on the Home tab, where you'll be dealing with your clients, your transactions, and any documents you add to their file. You also have this real estate specific calendar, able to add activities by real estate category here, as well as your activities tab, where you're able to create activities checklists, checking activities off as you complete them. We've got our email marketing here, which is coming soon. And for those of you with associated boards, you can come into this Forms tab and find those board forms here. Now, the first thing that you want to do once you log into Repre is click on the Profile button. Come in here and fill in all of your information, as well as your brokerage information, if you like, and click Save Profile. You also have the option to add a picture here, to add an email signature, change your account details, such as your plan or the credit card that we have on file, and you can cancel your subscription at any time here. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is add your clients. Click on that Add Client button here. Enter their information. At a minimum, we suggest the first name and the last name, as well as that email address. For an individual client, you just click Save All Contact Information here. If there is a secondary contact that shares a lot of the same information with your first contact, you can copy to New Contact. If there's a secondary contact that does not share much information, you can click Add Contact and simply add that secondary contact here and save all contact information. By clicking on that client, all of their contact information will appear here, as well as that secondary contact. If you've made any mistakes that you want to change, for example, capitalizing their name here, you can either click on the Edit button or the Details button, and you'll be taken right back into that contact information. Save all contact information. Next, you want to add your transaction. Typically, agents will use the property address for the property they're working on, but it can be anything that you want. Select the type of deal, a listing, buyer, or marketing, as well as the status, active, lead, archive, and other.
Just pause it for one quick second. For this demonstration, they talked about marketing. That's not an active tab right now. We will be using listing and buyer as our defining categories. Listing will be all documents that you have while dealing with a seller. So that would include your listing agreement, MLS data sheet, etc., your FinTrack, and also the agreement of purchase and sale when that property does sell. Under buyer, it would be all the documents that you would need representing a buyer. So it's a little clearer than what it was in the old one. They used the terms listing and transaction, and then you had to have a separate transaction for a listing, which was very confusing for some people. The new system is quite straightforward with just listing, everything to do with the seller, and then buyer, everything to do with the buyer. Okay?
If you need to make any changes here, just hover over that transaction name and click on the Info button. Next, you're going to add documents to your client file. Click on the Add Document button. For those of you affiliated with one of our partners, with forms available, you can click on the Launch Forms button here, and you'll be taken into your board forms. Or you can add files from your computer. Select that document from your computer. Click Open. You can click the Start Upload button here, which will begin the upload for all documents, or you can click on the individual document and start the upload by clicking on the Start button. Once that upload is complete, you can close out of that Add Document window. You'll see your document here within your client file, and you're ready to tag and send for signatures. So come up here and click on the Ratify button. Select your signers by checking the box here. You can add yourself as a signer, as well as your client. Select the routing order that you would like the document to be sent in. For the most part, your signer type will remain on signer, but you do have a few other options in here. Checking carbon copy will just send a copy of the document after the signing session is complete. You can choose in-person signer if your signer will be using your device to complete the signing session. Or you can select agent if you'll be sending that document to another agent and want them to be able to add their own signers and place signatures as well. In this case, let's just send to our signers. You also have the option here to add an additional signer. You can choose from your address book, or you can enter their information here.
I just want to draw your attention really quickly where it says select from contacts, lawyers, and agents. So if you start typing in an agent's name in there, it will bring a drop-down menu. And again, linked to Toronto Real Estate Board, you'll have all the agents that are there, just as the last one did. Same as lawyers, you start typing the lawyer's name, it'll give you a drop-down menu for you to choose the correct lawyer, just like the other one did as well, or the previous software.
We're not going to do that today. Now you come down to the subject and message that will be sent to your signer. You can make any changes here that you like. And now we're going to drag the document that we'd like signed from transaction documents to documents for signing. Just drag and drop from the right column to the left. You can see here that you're also able to reorder the document. And when you're ready, tag document for signatures. Now you're in your tagging screen. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see all of the signers that you've added to this signing session. You can select all, you can select none, and you can select those signers individually. Whoever you have selected up here will have one tag dropped into the document when you drag and drop it in. For example, if you select all of your signers, come down where you need those signatures, and place it in the document, you'll see two placed, one for each signer. Now the sign here, initial here, and date time all require at least one signer be selected. Let's place those elements as well. We'll come up here and have our signers initial that first page. For the remaining three, you do not need to select a signer. For example, if we want to change the money deposit here, we can drag a strike through in, drag a text field, enter the dollar amount, and if there's something that we'd like our signer to acknowledge with a checkbox, we can place that in the document.
He's going to talk about checkboxes and open text field boxes that you can have your client fill in information. We don't use that in Ontario or in the GTA. These are probably for some other boards that utilize these tools. The only thing I could think that you would use the checkbox for is on a confirmation if you forgot to check something off and as you're tagging you notice it's missed, you could throw that box down there and fill in a check mark. But what he's about to talk about doesn't really pertain to us.
As well. Most often this is used for yes/no questions within documents. We just want to draw attention to a certain part of the document. If you select a signer and drag a text field into the document, that text field will be assigned to that signer, and they will be asked to enter text into the text field. Just something to keep in mind. You'll also notice that you're able to change the style and size of the font, and you're able to delete pages from within the document by clicking on this X here. You can also jump between pages by clicking on each page. Once you've placed all of the tags that you'd like within the document, you're ready to send that document to your client for signatures. That sent document will be shown here. When originally sent, it will show in green. Now your client is going to go to their inbox. They will receive an email. Click on that email. Here they'll see that message that you've written to them, and they'll click Start Signing Session. The documents that you've added will be listed here. Your client will agree to sign electronically and start electronic signing. For those clients that have signed before, their signature will be here. And they have the option to either draw the signature or to type it. You will want to ask them to follow this example here to get the best result from their signature. Once ready, click Save Signature and Initials, and your client is ready to start their guided signing session. They will click Start Signing, and they'll be guided through the document. So first, they'll be guided to that checkbox that we placed. You can see the new content has been entered here. Next, they'll be asked to enter text into that text box that we assigned to our signer. They'll be guided to that crossed out content, add their initials. The timestamp will be here next to that signature, and they will place their signature by clicking here. Once complete, your client is asked to save the signed documents, and now that document is off to our second signer. So if we come back into Repre and refresh our screen, click on our client and our transaction, we'll see that that document for electronic signing is now in orange. letting us know that at least one party has signed. Now, throughout the signing session, you're able to track your signer's progress. So you can come to that document for electronic signing, hover over it, and click Info. This is going to be all the basic information about that signing session. And you also have the sign audit. This will track your signer throughout their signing session. If they allow their location, that will be shown here, as well as in the Location tab. So we can see here that our first signer was informed, viewed the documents, saved their signature, started signing, and finished their signing session. And now that session has been sent to our second signer here, who has received an email. We can close out of that sign audit, and let's complete that session with our second signer. You can see now that that document for electronic signing has become gray, meaning that we've completed those documents. And you will also see the signed version of those PDFs in your client file. You and your client will receive a final email with those completed documents attached. You're also able to hover over that document for electronic signing, click Info, and come into the sign audit once again to click on this Save Session Certificate, which just gives you all of the details of your signing session, including an image of those contracts, your signer's signature, their IP address, and their location. Now, there are cases when you're going to need to make changes to those signing sessions, so let's quickly walk through that. You're not able to make any changes to any signing session that has been completed, but active signing sessions can be adjusted. So click on the document for electronic signing, and you enter our edit window here. So you can either edit the tags, selecting your signer, adding additional tags to your document. In the case of adding additional tags, you'll just place them in the document and then close out of the signing section. You do not need to resend at this point. That will send a second email. You also can edit the signers and documents by clicking on the Edit Signers and Documents button here. And you're able to make changes. For example, you can change the email address by clicking on this edit pencil here, coming in and changing the email address. And then you'll click that resend button. You're also able to add additional documents to that signing session, tagging those new documents for signatures as well. So once you've completed that signing session, you may need to email those documents off to the other agent, and you can do that right from here. So click on the email button, enter the other agent here, select those signed documents. You can enter any message here that you'd like for that other agent, and then send that email. And there you have it, all of the main systems within Repri, from signing up to sending a document for electronic signing. If you have any questions, please feel free to click on this Help tab, enter your email address and post a question, or chat with us. For more tutorials, please click on our support page and search tutorial content. Welcome to Repri.
Okay, so I'm going to take you for a quick little walkthrough of the Repri program, and I'm going to show you some highlights that we've customized for our agents to make this transition a lot simpler. First of all, as he had pointed out, there are several tabs across the top. The calendar will come into play more often if you have used the activities tab and created a to-do list for your listings, your buyers, and then those to-do lists, if they have a date on them, will be auto-populated into the calendar. This is an optional tool you can use. It's totally up to you. Activities, again, you can create your own activity planner. You can have under listings, this is the brokerage one, so it looks a little different. You can create a listing to-do list, a buyer to-do list, what have you in here. Market intel, as he said, will be coming in the future. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be about. I think it's going to be generated through TerraNet, so it's probably going to be graphs and different things like that for you to utilize. Transaction viewer, it's going to list all your transactions here, a tab to go into your forms, and a tab to go directly into your e-signature program. So I'm going to go back to the home page. On the home page is your client column to the far left. When you go into Reprieve for the first time, you may see your clients that have been migrated from the old one into the new one, or it may be a little while before you see them go in. Next one will be transferring all those clients into your new one. But that may take some time. So don't panic if they're not there. They will be coming in at some point in time. For you to add a client, you simply click the Add Client menu, type in the name, Laura again, because that's I'm in here again, and the email. And when I click my email, it auto-populates my stuff. Oh my goodness, look at me. I'm in California. That's not true, but let's see. Do we have Ontario? I did see the Yukon. There we go. Ontario. No, Nunavut. Oh my goodness. Let's get to Ontario. There we go. So it's Ontario. If I had another contact, I could click copy this information. So if the mailing address was the same, I could copy this information and just add the new name, or I could click on add contact, and that would give me another option to add a new contact. So I'm just going to go down to save all contact information. Here you see it in my details. If I had two contacts here, there would be another one just below here. My next item, the edit button is over here, or you can click on details to edit that way. Next thing we're going to do is add a transaction. So usually we do transactions by address. It's probably the easiest way to disseminate between transactions. So I'm going to put 123 ABC Street. This is, I'm working with a buyer in this situation, and it is an active client. And now I'm going to hit save. Okay, we now see the transaction under the transaction bar. If I needed to modify that, I could click on the information and modify anything in this area, or I can delete it. Going to go to save, and it's going to take me back to my home screen. So I'm going to highlight the transaction I want to work on. And now I want to add forms to this. My client has found the house they wanted to buy on 123 ABC Street, and we're going to create the offer. So I'm going to go over to this orange tab on the right side, click Add Forms. This is going to launch your ARIA web forms. They're all listed here, which is going to take you forever to run through and find all the forms. If you need a certain form, you can click in this search box. It has all the forms under their number group, and I guarantee most of us don't know what number our forms are, but it also has have them listed under category. So if you're looking for the condo forms, if you click condo, they come up. You can also type in a name for a form in here, and it would come up as well. So working with a realtor. I said working with a real working. Let's see if something, there we go. I just started typing the word working in, and up came my working with a realtor forms. So those are 3 different ways you can look for forms in this particular area. The 4th way is to select My Groups up here. When you select My Groups, it's going to come into a section where you're going to see a whole bunch of gray boxes with a title and then some forms beside it. What we've done as a brokerage is gone in and created all the templates, so all the kits with all the forms you're going to need for this particular transaction. You may have other forms you want to use and you can add them in here, or you may not like some of the forms that are in here, but basically everything that we find is mandatory for a completion of a transaction, that form will be in here. Now, there will be some other forms in here that you may not use every single time. If it was a firm offer, you may not use a notice of fulfillment. If it was a firm offer, you may not use a waiver. If you needed an amendment, it's in here. I just noticed there's something missing here, which is a mutual release. You can also have a mutual release there. The reason it's in here is that when you do, or if you do need it, the form's in your little form library for that particular transaction. So depending on how you want to do your business, you can modify this. But to keep it nice and simple and allow you guys to go through on a faster basis, we have collected these documents. So I'm going to say today we're looking to use an agreement of purchase and sale, an APS freehold for this particular client. So I've clicked on that gray box. It's been highlighted in blue, and I can go over to the orange tab that says populate. If I put in an MLS number in here, it's going to auto-populate all of the areas that it has already done in the old web forms. It will auto-populate it again in this form. If it's an exclusive listing, I can actually put the PIN number in off of Geo Warehouse or the land registry, and it'll auto-populate those same fields from the land registry. For this example, I'm not going to put anything in. I'm just going to continue without data. So my form's going to come up blank. Sorry, it's taking a bit, except for my name, which is filled in from the client tab. On the left side, you're going to see a little box. This box is showing you all the forms that are in this particular transaction. I'm going to close it because I don't need it right now. But if there was a form here you knew you would never use, you could come over and click the X and it would disappear. So I'm going to get rid of that by hitting close. And it's going to open up a left-hand column with all the blanks. These blanks coincide the blanks on the form. So you can either fill it in from this side or you can fill it in on the form. Whatever way you want to do it, it's totally up to your preference. We're going to pretend I filled all this in because I'm not going to go through. We all know how to fill a form in. And we're going to go down to Schedule A. When you are into Schedule A, you're going to see, by the way, the seller's name, once you've put it in once, it'll keep filling it in, so you won't have to do it on each page. But right now I didn't put it in, so it's not there. So back to clauses and phrases, which is what we really do when we go to a Schedule A. If you click on clauses and phrases, you're going to have a pop-up box come. In that pop-up box, if you do chattels, it's going to give you all the clauses that pertain to chattels. Vice versa, if you do mortgages or condos or completion date, all those clauses for those specific items will come up. The other option is brokerage clauses. And in here, what we have done is created as many scenarios as we possibly could think of, with all the clauses from the beginning one, buyer agrees to pay the balance of, to the very end, the home is going to be left in broom swept condition. We've put in I'm going to put one of these in here. So condition on finance and inspection with all the necessary clauses. I'm going to click on insert, and it's going to put all the clauses that I would want on that particular type of offer. So right at the beginning, we've got our buyer to pay the balance. We've got our condition of inspection where we can type in the date for that condition. We have our condition of finance. Right there, we can type in the date. If we want to remove that, we can highlight it and delete it off the page. We can go down. We have our warranty clause. We have that the property has not been used for a grow up, a revisit, and the seller agrees to leave the premises, including garage and or sheds, clear of any personal belongings, garbage, or debris that has not been included in the agreement of purchase and sale. So there's a fairly concise COF, COI offer. Again, you may have your preferred clauses, and if you do, you can add them in here, or you can go into My Clauses, create one that you like to use, and save it. So if you've modified this, you can click on Save to My Clauses here, and it will go into your own file of clauses. We will from time to time add different clauses in here, delete clauses, and try to keep it up to date with all the information that we have to modify as time goes on. So once we're satisfied with everything on this side, we're going to hit insert, and it's going to auto-populate all those clauses onto Schedule A as it does in our present web forms. Now, when we were, for those of you who were at the Webforms seminar, the lady spoke about the fact that there is a glitch in the system, and the system does not, once you've got so many clauses on a page, does not continue on to a second Schedule A for the balance of the clauses. It is affected in next one as well. So to kind of bridge that for you guys in the short time that it's going to take them to fix it, I added a second Schedule A to your bundle of forms. And that would allow you to copy these, oops, let me get down here, highlight the smaller clauses here, cut them, and come down and paste them onto, get on here, onto the other Schedule A. And this way you can make the fonts a little larger, and it doesn't seem to be all squished in. So that's just a little bridge for the time being until that area is corrected by Webforms. So we're going to assume I've gone through and filled in all the forms that are necessary. And then I can do three things. I can save the form to be edited at a later date. I can download and print the form, or I can save it to my transaction. I'm going to save this to my transaction. I'm going to select save all the forms because I'm going to assume I did them all, but in reality, we're probably not going to fill out the mutual release or the waiver at this point. So really, we're going to do the schedule and the agreement of purchase and sale, say the confirmation, 801, and we're going to save. This takes a little bit on my computer, so I'm going to just get it to do a reload and go into my client, Laura, click on my transaction, and there are the forms I just finished working on, and they're now in my transaction kit. At this point, I want to now send them to my client to sign. So I go into the ratify button, which has got a little feather of a pen to fill it in, and you're right into your electronic signing process that we had in the past next one. The differences in this one, as they showed in the video, you can actually modify a signing process once it's been sent, and you can adjust email addresses and add signers at the same time. So I'm not going to go through that because we basically know how to do that, Maybe I'll do a real quick, throw the APS over, tag it. Oh, I haven't selected somebody. Sorry, tag it. I would select who's going to be initialing and throw the initials down. Go all the way through to the signatures. Here we go, signature for the buyer, date. And here, when this pops up, you can eliminate the time if you want to, or sorry, just have the time, just have the date, or have both time and date. It defaults to both time and date. I just thought I'd show you that while it's there. We're going to pretend everything's been done. I'm going to send it to the signer. And right now you see that it has been sent to the first signer. When that turns orange, it's going to show you that the signing process is ongoing, that your signers are now dealing with the paperwork. And when it goes black, it's going to show you, that means that all the signing has been done, and the forms will show above that black documents for electronic signing right there. You can then email somebody with those documents, send it over, type in the person's and send email. I didn't put one in there, so that's not, oh, sorry, I want to exit out. And you can create a trade for it, which I told you I was going to do. So the buyer would be, it's the transaction information type, it's a buyer. A transaction, it's now sold firm. I can put the MLS in there. Property type. This is really good if you want to keep track of what kind of properties you sell. So if at the end of the year you want to say you sold 14 detached, 1 condo, 3 townhouses, this is the way you can sort them out. Put in the address for those properties. You're going to put the selling price of the property, the date it happened, the offer acceptance, the firm date, the closing date, the amount of the deposit, if there's an additional deposit, and if there's any notes. Then if there's conditions, you can add them here. Contacts, this is going to be, now your buyer is already in here. You're going to add a seller, a buyer's lawyer, a home inspector if you want, or a mortgage broker. Sometimes you might want to add the mortgage broker because you've added them as a copy, carbon copy, but you can put them in here so that if the back office needs reference to it, or you want reference to it down the road, hey, who did I use as the home inspector on that deal? I really liked him. Or who was the mortgage broker on that deal? Commission calculator, this is where you put in your total commission, what's going on the buying side. You have an address book here for any agent on Toronto Real Estate Board. I'm going to go Mary Roy. Oh, it didn't come up. Oh, you know why? Because I'm not live here. Sorry. It will come up once it's live, but I'm not live. So Mary Roy's information would be populated there. So that's that. I'm going to click populate. Again, it will populate most of the information, like the address of the property and everything when you hit that. Okay, where am I going now? Save, populate, save as a PDF. It'll do that. And then we're going to go back into our home page. Hello, wake up. There we go. Into our home page, and you can see the trade record is there. So now I'm going to go back into a tutorial on how to we've got a completed transaction, we've done our trade, and we want to submit that to the back office. So normally if this was live, there would be a submit button here that you would click, but I'm going to show you a tutorial. They'll point it out to you, and they will walk you through the process. So let me just go. While I'm doing this, I just want to point out they have tutorials and general FAQs in this section for anything that you might be interested in, such as removing or adding a client, copy, paste tags, correcting routing out under e-signature, how many transactions can I store, whatever questions you have, that will be there. So we're going to do submission walkthrough from the agent's perspective. Just give me a minute while I log this on. And I'm actually going to watch it later so I can, oh shoot. I want to go into YouTube so I can make the screen bigger. Here we go. Into YouTube. There we go.
Welcome to this quick tutorial. I'm Carlo, and today I'm going to show you the activity submission process to your back office. Navigate to the submission section by first selecting the client and the transaction. Note that all PDFs in your files list are available for submission. Now let's click the Submit button. To provide some context, an activity plan is a list of activities required by your brokerage in order for you to complete that transaction. Let's add a plan. Click either the Add a Submission Plan to Get Started button or Add Plan button. A new window will display, showing the list of plans created by your brokerage depending on the transaction type. Hover over the plan to display the list of activities required. Once you have selected your plan, select the start date. The due dates for each activity within the plan will be based on that start date. Then hit Add Plan. The activities for that plan will now be displayed. In this case, your broker will require you to submit documents such as the purchase contract and FinTrack, indicated by that document's required note. You are still able to attach a document to an activity without that note. To attach a document to an activity, click on a document, then drag and drop on the activity. To remove a document, click the X button right beside the document name. Once you are ready to submit, select the activity, then click the Submit button, also highlighted in blue. Confirm that the submission has included the correct activities with the right documents. Then hit Submit Activities to send those activities to your back office. The color of the activity and the status will change, indicating the submission is complete. As you can see, it has transferred from the agent to the transaction manager after submission. Toggle the three tabs to display incomplete, submitted, and completed activities. Adding another document to the activity will automatically update the submission for the back office. This applies to removing the document as well. To delete an activity, navigate to your Activity Manager by closing the Submissions window and click on Activities. Search for the transaction, which will display the attached activities. Then click the X button on the right to delete the activity. Head back to the Submissions window and notice that the activity is now deleted. Once your transaction manager has a chance to review those activities, they will either accept them or reject them with instructions on correction. The notification sidebar will display reviewed activities. In this case, one of your tasks has been accepted by your conveyancing department. And in the case of the rejected activity, there are initials missing on page 4. Remove the rejected document, and once you have the correct document with initials, reattach the document and resubmit. For an overview of all your activities in your account, navigate to the Activity tab. Any completed activities will no longer appear unless you toggle this checkbox. That is the submission process for agents to the back office. For more tutorials, please visit our knowledge base or send us your questions by clicking the green Help tab or emailing support@repeat.com. Thank you for watching.
Okay, just a couple of things I want to review on this, and only a couple. I don't know whether when I was talking about the e-signature, whether I mentioned that I found out today that if you are a DocuSign user or a AuthentiSign user, you can actually go, when you go to the ratifying, you can actually ask Nexone to link you to DocuSign and also link you to AuthentiSign. They have absolutely seamless transactions with DocuSign. However, they did want me to tell you that they have had ongoing problems with AuthentiSign. So if you're a DocuSign user, yay, I would contact them if you wanted to continue using DocuSign and get them to link it to Nexone, and you can go directly to DocuSign rather than e-sign. And AuthentiSign, I would speak to them first before I would get that linked, because if it's an ongoing issue that they've had, you might want to wait till AuthentiSign corrects that issue, or Nexone, whatever side it's on. In the meantime, if you have used AuthentiSign and you have saved your signed documents, or if you had them signed in the old-fashioned way with a pen and paper, and you've saved those documents on your computer, you can go here to drag and
all your activities in your account.
You can go here to drag forms over, or you can hit download and choose the forms you want to be sent over into AuthentiSign, or AuthentiSign, oh my gosh, into Nexone. So this is where you would drag and drop some documents in. You also can do it from which screen? Let's get to the screen. Here as well. You could go to add document, which is going to take you to the forms where you can launch your forms, and the top right left corner says add document, and that'll take you into your computer where you can now click and have those forms appear in your transaction area. So that's all I've got for you now. So you've learned how you can add a client, get your forms, fill your forms in, ratify your forms through e-sign with Nexone, DocuSign. Hopefully everything will get sorted out with AuthentiSign. You now know how to create your trade by going to the trade button and filling in all the information. That's the same as the old front page of the envelope that you used to stuff your documents into. And then how to actually submit those forms to the back office so they can process the transaction. If you have any questions, please join me in one of the offices. I'm going to be in several of them for the next 3 weeks. So if you want me to help you on a one-to-one basis, by all means, meet me in one of those offices. Or if it's going to be on a Saturday or an evening, please call me ahead of time so I will be there. I don't want to be sitting for 3 hours in the office on a Saturday and nobody show up. So the evening, it doesn't matter, but on the Saturday, if you could call ahead to let me know you're coming, that would be great. Other than that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for your patience, and hopefully this has been a helpful video or for you guys on the new Nexone. Thank you very much.